So today we've got a great pleasure. One of the greatest wine families in the world is the Torres winery family. And today we're going to sit down and have a little fireside chat with Miguel Torres Jr. His father has been one of the great wine personalities of the last century. Miguel, could you give me a sense of what the Torres wine family is trying to achieve in your long history of being growers first and now growers in California, Chile, and obviously back in Spain?
Well, we started in Spain, very close to Barcelona, actually, in a region called Penedès. And 300 years ago, we already had vines there. We were growing vineyards and, then selling the grapes. And then around 140 years ago, then is when we started our winery, and then we start to produce wine. No? From that point, we counted generations, because from that point, the company was passed from father to son. And I'm the 5th generation right now.
Wow. Mazatlana is a classic wine to so many of us, but really leapt to fame in the 70s. Maybe give us a sense of how this little Spanish Cabernet came to great prominence and beat the big hitters from Bordeaux.
Yeah, so, well, in the 70s, we started to plant Cabernet Sauvignon in Spain because we thought that, it was possible to make top wines also with international varieties in Spain. And then we produced some of the first vintage of Mazatlana. And at the beginning, some people like it, some not, so we decided to actually show this wine in the Gold Medal Olympiade du Vin in Paris. On those times, that was the most important competition in wine in the world. And Mazatlana achieved to beat all the French chateaus. So actually it was a big scandal, no? But that day was something very special for us because it showed to us that we could make top wines and compete with them around the world. No?
Nice. So now we have Torres from Spain that we've all come to love over the years, and now you're living in Chile. Maybe give us a sense of what's happening in Chile.
Yeah. Well, we came to Chile 30 years ago now, and when we arrived there, actually we were the first foreign investment made in wines and in vineyards, no? But we knew that Chile was a very special place, paradise for viticulture, because there's no phylloxera, there's not many of the diseases that are in the European vineyards. And then we started to make wine, but on the way that we like to make wine, no? Not on the old Chilean way. And we did bring some of the first stainless steel tanks that came into Chile, some of the first oak French casks. And after that, I think that we kind of helped, at least a bit, so that there was a small revolution there. And now Chilean wines are exported all around the world. So we are happy to be the first ones that, push a little bit for that to happen.
We know Torres is well known as far as being one of the top environmental stewards when it comes to farming. How has organic farming changed in the last few years? And maybe give us a sense of how farming used to be back before spray companies and people were absentee landowners. If you live on the property, I think a lot of times you treat it very differently when you grow up in the vineyards.
Yeah, well, for us, we are a family that we live from the vineyards. They gave us the grapes that we use to make the wine, and so it's really important for us to preserve the environment. No? So that's why for decades we have not used any herbicide or pesticides in our vineyards. But at the same time, now we're in the process of really turning most of our vineyards into 100% organic viticulture. Most of our vineyards in Chile, they are already 100% organic viticulture, and in Spain it's changing too. I think that that is not only a fashion, is something that we should believe more and more, because the more we respect the vines, the better are the grapes to make the wine.
Yes, totally. So your sister at Miramar Torres in California, we all know her as a very driven lady to move out from Spain. Maybe give us a sense of what's happening on this side of the pond, so to speak.
Well, Marimar, she's a very charismatic woman. She decided to go to the United States in the 80s to actually start her own winery in Russian River Valley in Sonoma. She makes there Chardonnay and a Pinot Noir. She's just focused on these two varieties. And, she's a woman that she wants to, control every single detail in the production, from the vineyard to the final sales, So these are wines that really have their character, Lately, she has turned all her production into biodynamic also. So it's really, going, very much on the side of the ecology and respect for the environment as the rest of the Torres family and group.
We've got the 2001 Grand Muralis in our glass today. Truly outstanding wine. could you give us a sense of maybe a little tasting note of what the wine is, the grapes? And we definitely know that you're the only producer growing these grapes, so this is like tasting history, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, as you know, this is a project that we started a long time ago, and the idea was to recuperate the varieties that were used in Catalonia before the phylloxera back in the 19th century. So this wine is made with Garnacha, with Cariñena, with Monastrell, and also with Garrot and Samsó. And actually, we have the only vineyard producing these last two varieties because they were almost extinct. No? So this is a wine that it knows, it has a lot of complexity. You can have there the fruit, but also one part of spices, leather. It has a minerality too, because the vines are planted in slate soil. And in mouth, again, you see this full body, the acidity and the alcohol, they're very well balanced. And again, at the end, in the mouth, you can feel this minerality, these slate soils that are so present in this wine. No? Yes. It's a wine that, it can age for a long time, really. It's one of the best wines that we're producing today.
So Miguel, thanks so much for spending time with us today. Here's to our second year in business and many more years sharing your great wines with our great friends and customers. Cheers.
Thank you, David. Salud.
Cheers.